Good evening, Geckophiles and Cinephiles across the globe. Welcome back to Down the Rabbit Hole Podcast, episode 15. We are broadcasting to you live on the Movies Matrix YouTube channel. Please subscribe down below, hit that like button, follow us on Twitter at Movies Matrix Pod. My name is Lo. You can find me on Twitter at Marcellus Durden. I'm representing the Bay Area of Northern California on the West Coast. Representing New York, we got my man Ryan. What's up, New York?
Yo, what's up, California? What's going on, guys? Glad to be back. Missed last week, but we've got a bunch of cool stuff to talk about. We got a load of news. I feel like we've gotten a lot more news during a pandemic than we have during a regular year. Ironically enough, when nothing's coming out, we're getting the most information about everything coming out. But dude, let's get right into it. We've got CCXP. I don't know if it ended yet. It might be in its final hour or so. But yeah, man, I'm a little disappointed with this. We're just going to do a quick little roundup because there wasn't too many big information drops or there wasn't really any teasers, no still footage. It was kind of a disappointing live stream kind of. I mean, oddly enough, the coolest thing that came out of it was the Godzilla versus King Kong, which I literally cannot wait for enough. I've been waiting since the first Godzilla in 2014 to come out. And bro, this movie is just going to be insane. I think it's going to be brutal. I think it's going to be action-packed and fun. Loretto, what are your thoughts on the King Kong versus Godzilla movie coming out in May on HBOMax in theaters now? We'll get to that soon, though.
I will say, I'm super excited for the film, but I've only seen Godzilla. The 2014 film, which was fantastic with Bryan Cranston. Yeah, dude, I missed out on Skull Island. I just never got a chance to see it. And I don't know, I wasn't grabbed by King of Monsters. And again, I just didn't see it when it was in theaters. But I mean, I've heard mixed reviews. Is King of Monsters even worth my time?
Okay, so I'm going to put this out here. I'm a little bit baffled by this because when I saw this, I don't know if you know this, but the infamous movie theater at Lincoln Center, has a 60-foot IMAX screen. So, bro, I saw that movie on a 60-foot IMAX screen, and I will say is the most gorgeous cinematic movies I've ever seen. Now, if you're going for plot, that's a different story. I don't. When I went into bro, this movie's not a very big plot-heavy film. I like the characters at least, but it's more on the monsters, which is why we pay for it. It's called Godzilla King of the Monsters. Loretto, it's definitely worth the watch, but also Kong Skull Island has great actors, and Samuel L. Jackson just plays the most over-top actor or fucking character he's ever played in a while. And it's awesome seeing Brie Larson, Tom Hiddleston, all of them in it. I think you should watch them before this comes out in May.
I didn't realize how fire that cast is, but is Sam Jackson in Snakes in a Plane mode?
Nah, dude, more.
That's awesome,
bro.
Hey, real quick for the viewers at home that don't know what Comic-Con experience is, can you break it down for us real quick before we move on?
I'm gonna be honest, I don't know too much about it, but usually it's an event that takes place in Brazil around this time every year. Okay. All that I really know is it's a massive Warner Brothers event for CCXP. Not usually anyone else goes to there. Maybe a few other TV studios and stuff like that produce TV, like CW. Obviously, massive CW shows will probably be there. They weren't there this year, though, because of the COVID and stuff like that. But yeah, this is usually another overhaul where they announce a bunch of new information, show a lot of new footage, and give us new details on a bunch of future projects. I can't speak tonight for some reason, getting it all out, thankfully. But yeah, dude, I can't be more excited for the Godzilla thing because honestly, Warner Brothers didn't really show too much DC stuff. Andy Muschietti, the director of The Flash, just said he's happy to work on the film and that he's excited to discover different places of the DC multiverse, even though we've only gotten 7 films. So it's not like the multiverse even seems that big right now. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of people were expecting, myself included, a Suicide Squad trailer. Absolutely nothing on that other than, I just want to say real quick, they're leaning heavy on John Cena's Peacemaker in this. Okay. I just got to say that because they showed another photo of Peacemaker. He's getting a TV show. The behind the scenes trailer at DC Fandom had a lot of him in it. James Gunn pretty much talks about John Cena every time he tweets from the Suicide Squad, unless it's like Margot Robbie or Idris Elba. Like, I feel like that Peacemaker is going to have a big role in the DC moving forward. Just want to say that, especially with his new TV show on DC or HBOMax. I was about to say DC Universe. That would have been mad. But yeah, let's just move on to the next one. I've been going on a tangent with this.
All right, so I guess in comparison to DC Fandom, which was also a live digital fan event, I guess to say this one is not quite as eventful. Moving into something I'm super stoked for, Aubrey Plaza and Jason Statham star in Guy Ritchie's upcoming thriller. It's still entitled, it's still in production. There's not much known about it yet, but I'm a huge Guy Ritchie fan. His first two films was like epic in terms of like a film debut, almost rivaling that of like Quentin Tarantino. He came out with Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch, both iconic UK gangster films that actually starred Jason Statham and helped bring him to stardom. And the last time Jason Statham was in a Guy Ritchie film was in Revolver. So it's been almost 15 years now. And obviously Jason Statham is a lot more known. Guy Ritchie himself has been doing pretty well outside of the UK gangster films. Like, he's doing Aladdin, Sherlock Holmes, The Man from U.N.C.L.E. So I think mainstream audiences are familiar with both of them now. And I think adding someone like Aubrey Plaza just makes me wonder. I'm not sure what kind of film we're going to get, but Aubrey Plaza can do it all. She's funny. She's gorgeous. So I'm really excited, man. What do you think about this picture?
Honestly, Guy Ritchie's usually hit or miss for me. I feel like that's just the common consensus when it comes to this guy. But personally, I've liked his last two films. I thought Aladdin, the live action 2019 edition, was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I know I'm in the minority there. I'm a sucker for musicals. What can I say? And I thought The Gentleman this January that came out, was also a quite enjoyable movie. But honestly, I haven't watched too much of Guy Ritchie stuff just because I think the last thing that came out before Guy Ritchie's Aladdin was the King Arthur movie, I believe. And honestly, man, that movie just looked awful. And I've heard nothing but awful things about it. So
it flopped so hard.
Yeah. And I feel I usually only go out to see the ones that get a good like consensus from people, because usually when the internet talks about Guy Ritchie, I find them never to be inaccurate, let's just say. So I like to take Twitter's opinion when it comes to Guy Ritchie, but they are wrong about Aladdin's. I'll give him that. I will give him that.
I will say this before we move on, but I just think that he gets a bad rap. Much like M. Night Shyamalan, the really bad films in his filmography affect how people perceive him, and it overshadows the great work that he has done.
But I feel like it's a lot of directors at the same time, because a lot of these directors we cherish nowadays, they're only on like, let's say their fifth or sixth film that they've directed. And we've got Guy Ritchie, we've got M. Night Shyamalan, who's created 10 plus projects at this point. You know what I mean? But let's just move on, because we got a lot of stuff. This one I'm really excited about is Julius Avery is reportedly set to direct a horror film set in the world of Van Helsing. And honestly, dude, I cannot wait for this. Van Helsing is one of my most guilty pleasure Halloween films ever. I think it's amazing, with the Jekyll and Hyde fight, and Van Helsing in the beginning is absolutely iconic. I remember being younger, that used to scare the shit out of me. And it, low-key kind of does. I mean, the film doesn't hold up as well, I will admit, but it's still an enjoyable piece of cinema, especially it's got Hugh Jackman in it, just killing a bunch of werewolves and vampires. Like, bro, what's not to love? And to see James Wan and Julius Avery come into this and produce and just create, they're just going to create something that's awesome, because I think Overlord was a good movie. I don't think it was fantastic, but I feel like with him and James Wan, they could really create something really unique within the Van Helsing universe that really wasn't a universe up until like quite literally right now. But what are your opinions on this, Loretto?
I was a big James Wan fan, from Saw to Insidious to Conjuring. I really appreciate his work, even as doing Aquaman. I trust James Wan. It's unfortunate. I would have liked to see him direct like a Universal monster film, but I don't know. Here's my thing. Van Helsing, I think, was a disappointment for me, because I really, really liked that director. Steven Sommers did The Mummy and Deep Rising, which were just B-movie monster flicks, and they're so much fun. And as much as I enjoyed Van Helsing for what it was, but some of the CG doesn't hold up well today, and Some of the
Yeah,
plotting was a little like wonky, but at the same time, Hugh Jackman's a great. Hugh Jackman's great. Kate Beckinsale's great. I'm not sure what direction they're going to take this. I think it would be better suited to do the more adventure comedy route, but I have a feeling from the vibe that Overlord gave me, this might be a little bit more serious, a little bit more gritty. So I'll reserve judgment until we get a trailer, but it looks promising, I will say.
I think anything with James Wan is just instantly promising, but this is the next story that I'm really excited about, and that's Emma Stone has reportedly dropped out of Damien Chazelle's Babylon due to scheduling conflicts. Personally, I'm not the biggest fan of Emma Stone, but I will admit I loved her in the Amazing Spider-Man films. But dude, I also love Damien Chazelle. I love Whiplash, and I'm one of the many, or let's just say few people that believe La La Land should have won the Oscar. I am one of those people. I'm not
And it was
afraid
also
to admit
reported
it.
that Margot Robbie is set to replace Emma
Yes.
Stone's character.
That honestly, that's just a win for me. That's a massive upgrade just instantly. So honestly, this project, Emma Stone was like, wow, I like everyone else, but Emma Stone, you know what? I'll give her a chance. But now that my wife Margot Robbie is going to be in this, like, come on, I'm sold. I am just sold on this. What are your opinions, Loretto?
I'm a huge Damien Chazelle fan. And don't kill me. I've been meaning to. I haven't seen La La Land yet, but I mean, I know it has a huge following. I was in love with Whiplash. That was my favorite film of that year. I also really enjoyed First Man. I know some people hated
I
it.
still haven't seen it.
Yeah,
I
First
need to
Man was
see it.
pretty cool. I really enjoyed his take on the NASA program, and it was really like intense. And some people said it was a little bit of a slow moving tale, but I appreciated Ryan Gosling's performance in it, and I'm excited to see what this is about. This is set in like old time Hollywood, and another set of interesting news with this project is Lee Jun Lee, if I'm saying that right, is cast as Anna May Wong, who was one of the first Asian actresses ever. So this is kind of like reminds me of a little bit like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, where we're going to see this tale take place in a real world setting, play with people playing real people. I'm just not sure if it's going to be like alternative history fiction, kind of like Tarantino does, or is this going to be more faithful to like what really happened? It's really interesting. There's not a lot of like buzz yet on exactly what this is about, but so far we got Margot Robbie, we got Brad Pitt, Damien Chazelle, and yeah, we'll see where this goes. As this unfolds, I think this will be a film to keep an eye on.
No, yeah, I'm excited for this one, definitely without. But dude, honestly, I'm gonna be real with you guys. When they announced this, I was not very excited. I'm just like, okay, Hawkeye was the least interesting Avenger, but I also love Jeremy Renner at the same time, so it was a bit of a moral dilemma for me. But dude, I'm so excited for this. Haley Steinfeld, I'm gonna say officially confirmed. I'm gonna give her two officiallys because she was officially confirmed, and then she said she wasn't officially confirmed, and now she's officially confirmed. So she's double officially confirmed for this. And honestly, this already looks like an action-packed just show, especially living in New York City. Looking at all these places are going, I can only imagine what they're doing in those streets, because a lot of these places I have been myself. So it's always cool seeing those places on the screen. And dude, I just can't wait. I love Haley Steinfeld. I think she is a fantastic choice. And I don't really know too much about Kate Bishop other than she's the apprentice or the trainee that brings the Hawkeye mantle down from Clint. So he could probably retire, I assume. But Loretto, what are your opinions, and do you know any more that you could add on from what I said?
I think Haley Steinfeld's a fantastic actress. She burst onto the scene in the Coen Brothers' True Grit. She starred in Bumblebee, which is a super underrated flick, especially considering how bad some of the Transformer movies are. And also looking at the character work of Kate Bishop, I mean, she's a dead on like ringer for the comic face, as you can see in the picture there. But I will say this, as excited as I am, I think she's a great actress. And I think the Hawkeye series has a lot more to offer us than I originally imagined when they announced it. But I hate this time of living and like not knowing any type of surprises. And I know like there's no going back from this point at 2020, but it sucks that something like this, like if I would have watched the Hawkeye show and then we didn't know she was in this and all of a sudden she appeared, I would have been like, oh, it would have been like a great reveal. It'd been exciting. It would have been like, dude, did you see that? Haley Steinfeld is Kate Bishop. But now it's like all this stuff leaks before the movie or the show even comes out, and there's no suspense. There's nothing's like saved for us anymore, save for maybe like the child revealed in Mandalorian last season. But like, I'm kind of sad that like some of these secrets, like, you know, things leak almost constantly now. And it's for me as a fan, it would be nice to have some of this appear for us naturally. You know what I mean? Versus
I actually want to add on to Hello because I was about to mention something like that. I'm shocked you didn't bring this up, but this kind of pissed me off when they posted this, whoever it was. So let's put it into perspective how the MCU looks right now. WandaVision, January. Let's just assume that Falcon and Winter Soldier comes out between WandaVision's end and Black Widow's date, right? And then we got Black Widow. And then after that, you can't put out any more MCU content, or you can't put any MCU content out until Black Widow airs, is what I'm trying to say, actually, because they've confirmed that Yelena Belova from the Black Widow film is also in this. For some reason, why would you guys tell us this? Like,
that's exactly where I was leading into. It's like, yeah, why would they spoil that? Like
I know she's not going to die, and we know she's taking the Black Widow mantle off of Nat after Endgame. But like, come on, dude, leave us something to want to wait for. And it makes so much sense. We're not getting the show until Black Widow comes out, and Black Widow has to be the next film to come out. So the more they push that back, the longer it's going to take for us to see Hawkeye. Maybe we might see Loki, depending on how that adds into everything. But I feel like I'm excited, but also kind of mad at the decisions when it comes to casting announcements. But like everyone else that they've announced, other than Yelena Belova, like Kate Bishop's mom, those are cool and all that. But like the big characters, they got to chill with, especially now with not knowing when these projects might actually come out. So that's just my main problem with it, Loretto. Dude, it's you can just hear the exhaustion in my voice. It's bad. It's really bad. But without a doubt, I think we've got two more. Yeah, we got three more things to talk about.
Oscar Isaac, he is all over the news almost every show. There's always something new with Oscar Isaac. But you know what? He's a king. He deserves it. He's a great actor. And he has been officially cast as Solid Snake in the upcoming Metal Gear Solid adaptation. If you're not familiar, Metal Gear Solid is a video game franchise that goes dating back to the Super Nintendo days. And then the PlayStation 1 actually revived the franchise with a whole new set of like 3D like spy thriller, almost cinematic quality action in terms of video games. And I've only played the PlayStation versions. I haven't played the later like PS3, PS4 titles. So you may know better than me, but I'm actually super excited because the original Metal Gear Solid on PlayStation 1 was one of my favorite games to play. Hideo Kojima, if I'm saying that right, is the creator of that franchise, and he's so creative with how he tells his stories and the interactions with the bosses and the way the fights go. And it was such a fun gameplay, like doing the espionage versus just shoot 'em up. You had to like hide from the cameras and sneak up on guards, and it was a really fun tale. It's interesting to see how the film's gonna go. So what do you think about this announcement, man?
Dude, Oscar Isaac has just been killing it with these franchises recently. Star Wars, Moon Knight, not Moonlight, I'm stupid. And now Metal Gear Solid, fucking Solid Snake, bro. Like, dude, he's killing it. This guy is the best. Bro, he's the best in the game, and I can't wait to see. Bro, and Dune too. How could we forget? Oh, dude, I'm so excited for this. This has also been a production hell film, along with the Halo TV series now. Not a film, but series. But yeah, there's nothing much to say. There's nothing we really know about this other than Oscar Isaac's finally casted. But this leads into our biggest topic.
It's the news of the week. It almost broke the internet. Holy crap.
It didn't almost break the internet. It broke the internet, and it broke the hearts of every single cinema goer. Just a tad bit. So if you guys don't know, Warner Brothers has announced that all their mainstream titles will be releasing same day on HBOMax as it would at a movie theater. So it will be dropping in a movie theater and HBOMax same day, starting with Wonder Woman. And because of this, this was inevitable. HBOMax actually finished their 1 week free subscription trial because of all the big names they're getting. So just to go down a few: Dune, Wonder Woman, Mortal Kombat, Matrix 4, The Suicide Squad, Space Jam 2, Malignant by James Wan, dude. there's just so many
What am
things.
I gonna do without Tom and
Dude,
Jerry in theaters? No.
Kong versus Godzilla is one of them. Like, bro, who in this is a massive because dude, there's so many reasons why this is massive. I'm actually shocked to see that Warner Brothers were the people to make the first call for this, because we're coming down to the days where this was just inevitable at this point. 2021 is too packed with films. So a studio had to make a sacrifice. And for all people to do it, I think Warner Brothers made the right decision. I'm going to be honest. I know a lot of people have been giving them backlash for this, which rightfully so. I can honestly, I see both sides to this. It's a really icky situation. Bro, just think back to when the pandemic first started. We were all fighting about goddamn Trolls World Tour not coming to theaters and going straight to VOD. That broke the internet. And now Warner Brothers is releasing some of the biggest films in this decade straight to HBO Max for free at no extra charge. Bro, this is monumental. But before we continue the discussion, I want to get your opinions on this, Loretto.
So me and Amanda actually got into it a little bit on the last show. Thank you for helping out, by the way, Amanda. She's in the comments.
What?
She's so stoked for Haley Steinfeld. And also, real quick before I go dig into this, what's up, AJ? How you doing, man? He's excited. Haley's awesome. You know what's up. Our man Todd's in the building. How you doing, Todd? Appreciate the love. So here's my thing. I don't want cinemas to die, but at the same time, I'm realistic in the fact that I know that this pandemic will not go away next year. And I appreciate that WB and HBO Max were wise enough to just give us the option. Like, if I could only see Dune on HBO Max, I would have flipped out. I would have been pissed because I want to see Dune in the theaters. It's an epic film. It's a space epic on a grand scale, directed by Denis Villeneuve. And I would need to see that in the theater with Dolby Cinema, IMAX screens. Give it to me. I need that production on a big screen. But the fact that they give us the option, and fingers crossed that I have a California theater open when Dune drops, I'll be satisfied. I'll be happy. But with that being said, who knows if that will happen? I don't know where we'll be by the summer of next year or by December of next year. Especially for the Matrix 4, even Mortal Kombat, even. I mean, I would love to see Mortal Kombat on a big screen, but I will say that it was forward thinking in the sense that if this is like the option for people to see films and this is the way to give it to us, I think it's a win for both sides.
Yeah, and to think we're also getting the Snyder cut on HBO Max next year. Honestly, I think Warner Brothers just made a smart financial decision and practicality decision. I agree with you, Loretto. There's some films that I will more than likely see in cinema. I will force myself to go if they're open. For instance, I will see Godzilla in the theater if my theater is open next May, which honestly, I can see happening. I'm going to be optimistic. I can see theaters being open at the rate that they are now with the same precautions. I feel like we can keep the theaters open, which is good and fine, but they're not making enough money. I'm not going to get into that, but yeah, dude, like Godzilla, I need to see in the theater. Matrix 4, I have to watch the first 3 first, but I'm going to watch that in the theater. Yeah.
Are you serious?
I've watched half of the first one. That's it.
What?
I've only watched half the first one. I fell asleep because it was like 2 a.m. in the morning. I'm like, you know what? I'll watch this later. I turned it off, turned the office on. I'm like, you know what? I still haven't gone back to this yet.
I will say this, man. Eventually watch them all, but the first is must see stuff, man. Like, you gotta watch it today. Like, you got to.
But that goes to say Space Jams, I honestly don't mind watching on my TV screen. I will be honest. Like Tom and Jerry, I don't mind watching on my screen. But Dune, I have to see in the theater. Suicide Squad, that one I have to watch a trailer to fully get if I can take the L and not watch in the theater. You know what I mean? But dude, Godzilla versus Kong, dude, that's gonna be a cinematic experience for me. But do you have any final words on this before we start talking about the draft last night?
No, not really. Like I said, we kind of got into it already, pretty deep last time, and I shared my sentiments then. But really, I'm excited for the sense that we're gonna have the opportunity to see these films versus the delay, and like all these films that we wanted to see this month up until Wonder Woman 1984, all these movies that were supposed to come out at the end of this year just didn't happen. So versus that never-ending delays and the anticipation of just waiting for a film, it's nice to know that if we want these films and we want to see them, HBOMax and WB are giving us that option. I think this is definitely a gift for fans. But as much as like I am excited for this option, it is a little bit sad because if this does spell like the beginning of the end for cinemas, like that'll be a sad day. So,
and to tack on right before we close this and move on, I just want to say, dude, Disney, they need to do something. All eyes are on Disney to have an investors meeting call on December 10th. A lot of people are expecting that they're going to make an announcement with a Black Widow going straight to a streaming service, whether it's earlier than the release date, which is next May now, or they keep that May release date and then they just drop it. You know what I mean? Like what Wonder Woman's doing. So all eyes are on Disney right now because everything's so methodical. But without a doubt, let's get into the Christmas movie draft. Can I press share correctly? No. Yeah, I can't. There we go. So, okay, my screen is good this time because I remember last time I had a few issues with this. But dude, I want to say, dude, some of these lists are interesting. You were in it, so I'll let you go over everything.
Yeah, so you know, everyone has their own strategy. Everyone has movies that speak to them, but I will say it was surprising to say the least. I know like Meet Me in St. Louis and The Holiday Fair probably means the world to Nicole, aka Mrs. Crockpot, and that's awesome. I think if those movies mean that much to her, that's great. Then you know, throw it on your team. But then Todd threw me a curveball. He took Love Actually, Mean Girls, and he's got Scrooge with Bill Murray, which is great. But it just made me. I mean, maybe I'm missing out on the Love Actually train. I know I've heard nothing but great things about it, and I know it has an epic cast. But I just thought that was an interesting route. We'll see how Twitter responds to that one. You know, Ryan took classics like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, It's a Wonderful Life, and I think between him and Dibes, like those two lists are just Christmas, like classic Christmas, and that's an interesting route as well. I think they will fare well. They'll probably get to at least the semis. And then we have Formal and JR who just did their own thing. You know, JR went straight up comic book movies, and people probably could have argued with him whether or not Shazam or Iron Man 3 were Christmas films. No one, I think, wanted to put up the bother with it. I think the Star Wars holiday special will doom his team, unfortunately. That experiment may not work well for him. And then Formal's list, I really wasn't familiar with, minus the Lego Star Wars holiday special, but I think that's an underrated pick, and it just might get him enough votes to maybe sneak in a win or two. I don't want to boast. I don't want to like toot my own horn, but I will say this is probably the best draft I've ever had, going back to superhero, Halloween, action, anime, or animation. This is the best team I've ever had, and I'm so excited. I just can't wait to demolish the competition. Merry Christmas, you filthy animals.
Yeah, dude, I gotta admit, these are some weird lists. So I'm just gonna go from left to right. The Formal, I'm gonna be honest, I've not seen The Snowman. Blackbird was never seen that. This Christmas was fine. And I haven't watched Lego Star Wars Holiday, but I heard that was fine. I heard it was good, right? It's good.
So much better than it has any right to be.
But like, that's really not, I don't really think that's gonna do anything for his team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So honestly, if I had to rate this team, I'd give it an F, simply because I'm sorry, Formal man. JR has got Batman Returns, which is, these are okay. So these first two films, great films. I love them. Iron Man 3 is a good film. I've grown on it over the years. And then, bro, just there's a holiday special on there. Like, what the fuck? You put 3 comic book movies, first of all, that you can probably fight that are in Christmas movies, and then put in the holiday special, the most infamous special anything in cinema and television history. Unfortunately, man, you're gonna get fucking destroyed by everybody, I feel like.
And I will say it's a consensus that it's one of the worst films ever made.
Yeah, it's a general consensus. Now, Ryan, he's got a decent list. I feel like where he's gonna lack is I don't think a lot of people have seen It's a Wonderful Life or Ernest Saves Christmas. Everyone's seen Polar Express. I don't have a deep affectionate love for Polar Express as many people do. So the film's good to me. Rudolph is an instant classic. I love that film. But I think I gave his team a C, if I remember. And then low, man, I appreciate the fuck out of you, brother. Elf was an absolute steal in the third round. I'm sorry, but JR and Ryan were just playing not well. That they didn't even take Elf first round.
I think to me that was a bona fide number one pick, and I'm so glad
that's what I thought. I'm just like, I was shocked when Elf wasn't in the top first two picks. Home Alone 2, Deep said this is better than the first one, which I don't know how many people actually agree with him on that. I certainly don't. The film's fine. I don't think it's all that funny. But yeah, it's also great to see Kevin McAllister, and I always love the two endings when he meets up with his mom finally and they come together. It's always a nice heartwarming moment.
And it's at the Rockefeller
Center. Seen Klaus. I've not seen Klaus. I've heard nothing but good things. It's animated, right?
Yeah, and it's on
That's
Netflix.
The thing. I've never been a big animated person, but it's also, did it win an Oscar or was it nominated?
It was nominated, and some people thought it might win, but I think it lost to Toy Story 4.
That's what I thought. Okay, and I don't remember if I've seen Jingle All the Way. Oh yeah, that's the one with
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
I have seen that now. I've seen it once, but not very well. I don't remember it very well.
I need a Turbo Man doll.
But I did give your list a B. I gave you a list of B.
Thanks, man.
Now this is the list I hate the most. I'm sorry, Todd, if you're still watching this, man. Love Actually, good. It's a cheesy film. It's a cheesy holiday rom-com. Mean Girls, bro. I'm sorry, but that is not a Christmas movie. I would have fought you all day just because they dress up in like slutty Christmas outfits. That's not a Christmas movie. Scrooged, I don't feel like enough people have seen it, but Frosty the Snowman is obviously a classic. I think I gave him either a D or C simply because of Frosty. I only give an F when I really don't like or haven't seen anything on the list. And then Deebs is The Santa Claus, which is a great film. The Nightmare Before Christmas, I was hoping he wouldn't have taken because I really wanted to take that. How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the animated, is a classic. And Charlie Brown, I've never been a big fan of, but I gave his team a B. Yeah, the show's running really long, so let's wrap it up right now. Any final thoughts, Lo?
Hey, real quick. Hey, Mrs. Crockpot.
Wait, why did I forget something?
Yeah, I was gonna say you missed her team. That's why I was gonna highlight her.
Here's her team. Oh, here it is. Okay. Yeah, and then we've got Nicole. All right, that was weird. I don't know why it didn't scroll.
She got Jingle Jangle, Just Friends, and then two classic films.
So I've seen Holiday Affair. It's a decent movie. I've never seen Meet Me in St. Louis. I've watched a quarter of Jingle Jangle, but honestly, it was too much for me. I couldn't really handle it. And
I thought you like musicals.
I do, but it was very it was like a little too in your face for me when it comes to like, I don't know. I also didn't give it 100% of a chance, so I can't really say too much. What was the other one? But I also did hear that it wasn't that great. I've not heard very many positive things.
Yeah, I've heard mixed reviews. Some people love it. Some people are just okay with it.
And then Just Friends, I'll let that one slide. I like the film. I like Ryan Reynolds. I'll let that one slide. I think I gave Nicole a C.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for everyone that's watching right now, if you're new to the channel, stay here. In about less than 30 minutes, night 2 of this Christmas movie draft that you're seeing on screen, it will take place live. And my man down below, Ryan, is hosting. You ready for this or what, man? I heard you're going to smoke the competition.
Bro, I'm going to smoke the competition, bro. I see so many missed opportunities in this first round. And, bro, they need to play smart. They need to play smart tonight. That's all I'm saying. Bro, I'm coming in hot for this win. I'm sick of making it far with the past 3 ones. I'm winning this one. I'm coming for victory. My boy Santa Claus is going to be happy, and I'll see you guys there. Peace.